Hi, welcome to session 4 of the Revelation Training Series. Today we're going to be talking about door knocking. It's a subject that I know most people are afraid of and cringe when they hear door knocking. And I believe it's probably one of the best things you could do in real estate, because real estate is a face-to-face business. It's actually getting out there and working. Before we really jump into the techniques of door knocking, let's address why do some people have this fear of door knocking? What do you think?
Well, I know that a lot of agents have told me that they feel like they're going to get the door slammed in their face, or they're afraid of offending somebody or making somebody mad because they're knocking on their door. That's one reason.
Well, they feel like they're bothering them. And I've talked to a lot of agents, guys, and we're very successful at what we do, and door knocking was a big part of it. And I get a lot of agents that go, door knocking doesn't work. Well,
Yes, it does.
It's tremendous. They don't want to work. And their excuses is with they feel like they're bothering somebody. And here's the thing that you got to wrap your mind around. If you don't feel like you have any value, then you feel like you're bothering somebody. And I never forget, one agent said to me, door knocking is never good. And nobody's ever happy to see somebody when they door knock. And
That's just absolutely not true. We have so many success stories from our own career.
I have something that I told him. I said, so you mean to tell me that there's never a time that you can go door knock where they'll be happy to see you? And he said, yes. So I said, great. What if I handed you a bunch of $100 bills and you knocked on every door, and as they answered the door, you said to them, I have $100 to give you. Do you think they'd be happy to see you? And he says, absolutely. And I said, so there is a reason why they would be happy. Because you're giving them something of value. Guys, that's the mindset you need to have. The mindset is you have something of value, and your value is your service.
Yes, and you're looking for people who are looking for you. And that just
Always.
takes time to talk to enough people to find those people. So door knocking is definitely worth your time.
And just think about this for one more second. I know with us it's true, and not everybody's had this experience, but you've had people knock on your door, and maybe some with services, and how many of you actually hired the person? I never forget, we had somebody door knocking one day to clean carpets, and perfect timing. We were looking to get our carpets clean, and we used them. And so it does work. It's a numbers game. So with that said, with the mindset of getting out there, let's now jump into actually door knocking. And the first thing I want to talk about is, when would you door knock? So now I'm starting days or time of days. What do you think?
Well, first of all, it does partially depend on why you're door knocking. Because for example, if you're door knocking before an open house, you want to give enough time ahead of the open house for people to actually make plans to attend if they want to. But if you're generally talking about door knocking, a really great time is Saturday mornings. Most people are home, for example.
Well, I also want to just jump in and say any time is good for door knocking. It's getting out there work. I'm just saying I wouldn't start no earlier than probably 9:30.
Yeah, 9:30.
And I wouldn't go anywhere where it's dark. Dinner time might be if you might be bothering somebody, but these days not too many people actually schedule out their dinner times. So it might be a good time that you'll catch them. Just don't go when it's dark out.
Or too early.
They'll think you're a stalker out there.
Right. So let's go over some tips and tricks when you're actually, let's start with why do you door knock, reasons for door knocking. And when I say that, reasons for door knocking, it's really the reasons for you. The reason is so that you have something to introduce the conversation that makes you feel more comfortable. You really don't need a reason to door knock, because you can just go knock on doors, introduce yourself, and say that you're in real estate looking for buyers and sellers. But oftentimes you'll feel more comfortable if you have a reason or an icebreaker. So here are some reasons. You may be door knocking before an open house, inviting them to the open house. You may be walking neighborhoods because you're announcing a home that's just been listed or has just sold. I know you have a couple of ideas too.
Being part of the Seller Advantage Division, and it's something that you guys should look at if you're not part of. We have other reasons for door knocking. One could be farming a neighborhood. Teach you how to farm a neighborhood, so staying in front of them. And the other one is just basically knocking on doors, but having a good call to action which one of them could be, I'll sell your home in 39 days or I'll sell it for free.
Now, session 6 will be very helpful for you about the seller advantage.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about, before we go into the specifics of each one of those, what not to do when you're out there door knocking. Guys, I wouldn't recommend putting a suit on.
Don't dress up too
They might
much.
think you're a bill collector out there, the
Girls don't wear big
IRS.
heels.
Yeah.
You'll be uncomfortable.
Yeah, dress casual, guys. Wear a name tag. That's a great thing to do.
It's professional.
Don't wear sunglasses. Yes, it might be sunny and bright out there. Yeah, we're in Arizona, but you know what? People like to see somebody's eyes.
Well, you can wear
makes
them,
it-
just remove them when you knock on the door.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You can remove them. Don't leave them on top of your head either. You want to look somewhat professional, somewhat casual, but don't look like a bum like me.
And the other thing is when you knock on the door or ring the doorbell, back away from the door when they come to answer it. That makes you and the person answering the door more comfortable.
Or they might have a dog that's ready to jump out and it gives you some time to run. So, but yeah, step away from the door so they don't feel like you're invading their space and they feel a little more comfortable. When they answer the door, here's the things. Now, depending on what the purpose you're there for, here's where your scripts come into play. I think another reason why a lot of people don't like the door knock is they feel like they don't know what to say at each door. And every door, it's a different line, and they're very clumsy over their words. Remember, when you practice your scripts like we talked in the earlier ones, it becomes very routine. So we're going to go over a few of them right now for you and what you're going to say at these. So let's first start with, you can start with if you're doing an open house.
Okay, so if I'm going to knock on a door, I probably have an invitation or a flyer of some sort that I'm going to hand them with the days and times and the details of the open house. So when they answer the door, I will introduce myself. I'll say, hi, my name is Angela Fazio. I'm a realtor in the area, and I'm holding an open house on Saturday. Here's some information I'd like to invite you or anybody you might know that would be interested in coming to the open house. Are you looking to buy a home? Or are you looking to sell a home? Do you know anyone who might be interested in buying this home or coming to the open house?
Yes, and remember, guys, make it easy, and I think I would shorten up the opening line of just introducing yourself and inviting them to the open house. Let them say something at the end of that, just so, because I know sometimes people feel very uncomfortable at the beginning of we're trying to remember all of that in one shot. So your short little spurts will make it a little easier for you to interact.
And most people will say thank you when you hand them an invitation, so that's a great way to start a conversation.
Yeah, I always look for my 3 no's. And here's what I mean by that. So if I was to invite them to an open house, I'd introduce them, say your name slowly. I'm a realtor in the neighborhood. I'd like to invite my open house down over there. Hand them the flyer. They'll say thank you. Then you could follow up with, are you interested maybe in purchasing a property? Or do you know anybody else that might be purchasing a property? No, there's my second no. Are you thinking about selling your home, or would you like to know what your home is worth? There's your third no. At that point, guys, you just move on. There's nothing magical you're going to say to them. Remember the key words. You're looking for people who are looking for you. Mm-hmm. It's simple. Don't be surprised when people do start engaging in conversation with you at any of those points. At that point, it's easy. Then you just engage in conversation.
Can you give an example of maybe when you're walking around, say, farming the area?
So let's jump into the just listed, just sold.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So, and remember, guys, you don't have to have a just listed, just sold yourself. It could be one of our company listings that just listed, just sold. You're more than welcome to go door knocking that way. So let's do a just sold, which I think is probably the best because it does open up conversation. Here's what I would do. I'd knock on the door. I'd introduce myself. Hi, my name is Chuck Fazio. I'm a realtor in the neighborhood, and we just sold your neighbor's property. Are you interested in possibly selling your home yourself? What that's going to open up is a dialogue of, no, we're not interested in selling. Great, would you be interested in selling maybe in the future? Nope, we're not looking to sell in the future. My third no I'm going for, well, you know the market's changed dramatically. Would you like to know what your home is worth? No cost or obligation. Let's go for that. Third no, we're on our way. We're going to the next property. But there's a good chance they might say, you know what did that house sell for? You see, that's why I like this sold. People want to know what's going on in the neighborhood. So at any point, if they ask about that property, you should at least know about that property.
And people do like to talk about themselves, so it's very likely that they'll start comparing their house to the house that's sold, or they'll start talking about their house or their features of their house, and of course now you're in a conversation with them.
Yeah, don't be surprised when they go, oh yeah, I see when that house went on the market, oh, that actually sold, what'd they get for that home?
Right.
So, guys, remember, there's nothing magical that you're gonna say that's gonna change your mind. It's getting out there and doing it. So those you just sold, just listed. Now, let's say we're doing a farming. Let's say you're part of the Seller Advantage division, and we've got the call to action, the 39 days sell it for free, and the farming. Well, with the farming, what you're usually walking around is the neighborhood newsletter. So you're knocking on the door, you introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Chuck Fazio. I'm the neighborhood realtor. I specialize in this area, and I'm here to give you the monthly newsletter.
And you do a lot of training through the Seller Advantage series on all of those types of marketing tools, et cetera.
Absolutely,
So,
equipping you with the newsletter, what to put in there,
So you may want to get
fan
involved with
pages.
that.
But now you're coming with an item of value. You're handing them something of value. So after you hand it to them, they say thank you. The next question might be is, are you interested in possibly selling your home now or in the near future? Let's say the answer is no. Remember, we're going for that third no? Great. Well, let me ask you a question. The market's dramatically changed. Would you like to know what your home is currently worth in today's market? No cost obligation to you. If they say yes to that, that's great. We know the no is we're moving on. We handed them the newsletter. We're all good. Give them your business card with it. But if they say yes, do not go into the house right then and there, especially you ladies.
Make an appointment.
What you want to do is you want to make an appointment. 2 reasons. One is safety. You don't want to be put in a position because they think nobody knows where you're at. And 2 is preparation. You want to go in there, and even though you're setting up to tell them what the home is worth, you want to comp the house up, and you're almost going to give them that listing presentation. So those are some great ways of doing your door knocking and getting in front of people. Guys, once again, what you want to focus on is your scripts, is the same routine over and over, and just getting out there and doing it. It does work.
So let's talk about one final thing, expectations of what you should be getting out of door knocking. First of all, when you're scheduling your prospecting for door knocking, you should have a goal of not how many doors are you going to knock on, but how many people are you going to talk to. So instead of, I'm going to walk around until I knock on 20 doors, no, make it, I'm going to walk around until I talk to 20 people. That way, you're actually prospecting and not just checking off the box of knocking on doors. And let's say you do have that goal of 20 people. What would you say, Chuck? If you had one really strong conversation with those 20 people, would you say that was a successful door knocking?
Absolutely.
One,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Remember, guys, listings is the
successful.
name of the game. You control listings, you control the market. And it doesn't cost you nothing to go door knocking.
Do you think that you should be leaving material when you knock on a door and they're not answered?
That's a good question. I see a lot of people out there leaving, in my opinion, junk. Being part of the Seller Advantage division, we have call to actions on ours that actually are capable of making the phone ring. But really, in all reality, if you're out there, you should leave something. And possibly somebody might give you a call off of it. So anyway, guys, that's our thing on door knocking.
Yes, thank you so much for watching.
Make sure you plug in. If you have more questions, let us know. And seek out the Seller Advantage division. It can help you get more listings.
Happy prospecting.
Yes, and God bless you.